Welcome to Kicking and Screaming, where we do a lot of screaming, and I'm usually the one getting kicked, normally, by my co-host, Bianca Peters. Now today, a little different. We're talking New York sports, which usually stinks. Let's face it. Both football teams stink, and if we were to put those two teams together, Jets and Giants, they'd still stink. You got the Yankees who are crying poverty, even though they make more money than God, okay? And the Mets are trying to remake the Kurt Russell movie Escape from New York as all their stars are leaving town. So that's the bad side. We got plenty of that. But there is the good side, guys. You know what the good side is? The New York Knicks, who are off to a great start. Okay, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago, and now they look like they could be a title contender. All right? And who better to talk about Knicks than the esteemed Mr. By the way, how long have you been doing this, Anthony? Anthony Donahue, who has been the Knicks voice of the fans. He is the ultimate fan. He is the super fan of the New York Knicks, and he has been doing it for how long?
Thank you so much. I would say I did my first ever Knicks radio show, started in 2005 when I paid for airtime at 540 WLIE in Long Island, and my first guest ever was my hero, John Starks.
Really?
He was my first guest I ever had.
So how'd you get him?
Oh, so I was interning at ESPN Radio at the time, which was in 2 Penn Plaza on the 17th floor, and the Knicks were right below us, and I ran into John Starks on an elevator, and I couldn't believe I was in the elevator with John Starks. And I said, John, I'm doing my first ever radio show on Thursday night in Long Island. Would you come on? He's like, sure, take my number. I'm like, wait, you're giving me your number? You're John Starks. He's like, I know. Call me. So he gave me his number. First thing I did was updated my AOL Instant Messenger and say, John Stark just gave me his number. Mind you, I'm 21 years old.
Sure, it's amazing.
So for the next 4 to 5 days, I called his phone like, 185 times, and he never answered. I left 85 voicemails. Hey, this is Anthony. Mind you, I was 21 years old. I didn't know anything about this stuff.
That's a typical athlete.
So the first show was Thursday night at 540 WLIE at 11 p.m. And actually, my first guest was already scheduled. That was going to be Brandon Tierney, actually, who unfortunately has been in the news a lot the last few days in the sports media, and we know Brandon will.
He'll land on his feet.
He will. He absolutely will. Brandon,
he's been on
one of the big
Sports
reasons I'm here today is because of Brandon. He did a lot for me, especially early in my career. So now it's about 10:55. I get a call from a blocked ID on my flip phone. And who is it? It's John Starks.
Amazing.
He's like, do you still want me on your show? I'm like, yeah, it starts in 5 minutes. I tell the board op, the show starts at 11. 3 minutes into the show, John Starks calls in. And the first show I ever hosted, I had my hero, who's now a friend of mine, John Starks, on.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You've been on the show before. We've never talked about that.
Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Look, I've been doing this for 40 years, mostly producing. I produce Sports Extra here. And I know how difficult it is to get athletes to do anything.
Yep.
You know, radio's a little bit easier than TV because you got to bring them in here and you got to get them on the set. They want car service, they want dinners, they want everything. So what you did there at your age, that's amazing.
Can I tell you the topics on that show?
Go ahead.
That day, the topics were the Knicks were not winning. Was Lenny Wilkins going to get fired soon, which he did a few weeks later? Why did Vin Baker call a team meeting and not Stephon Marbury?
I remember that.
Was John Abraham going to play for the Jets versus the Chargers? And
okay, sure.
And also the Mets just signed Carlos Beltran. Wow. So that's what was going on in January of 2005 when I hosted my first ever radio show.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
You know what? The 2005 Knicks, as we all know, they weren't the greatest Knicks. They were not the best. So you saw a lot of downtime.
Just a few years. A ton.
There was a few.
And it sucked because as a kid growing up, I became a diehard Knicks fan in 1992 when I was 8 years old. Granted, I never saw a championship. All I did was see them win. And then when Jeff Van Gundy left in 2001, just everything went wrong after that.
So a lot of guys in your situation, all right, I don't care how big a fan you are. Everybody's a fan of something. But you got a losing team. Now you're on air, and you start thinking, how does this help me? Yep. And a lot of guys would have bailed on the Knicks. They would have said, you know what? Mets are hot. You know, they got Beltran, as we talked about. They got all these guys. Why not go to baseball, whatever? But you stuck with the Knicks.
I stuck with the Knicks through thick and thin. And back then, I probably would go on a lot of rants. I'd be like, what is Larry Brown doing? Why didn't Larry Brown play David Lee, Channing Frye, and Nate Robinson? Why is he playing Maurice Taylor?
Maurice Taylor.
Where
did that name come from?
Why is Larry Brown playing Malik Rose over Channing Frye? Why is Antonio Davis our starting power forward? He's 100 years old.
Now, the one good thing you got going for you, the Knicks, that's true. All those rants. I know.
Antonio Davis.
You sound like everybody I've ever met that's a Knicks fan. I've heard all those rants. Every sport has a ranter.
2000.
Now, I rant to get paid.
2005 Knicks opening night in Boston. I went to the game. The starting lineup was so random. It was Stephon Marbury at the point guard position, Quentin Richardson at the 2. Yeah. The 3 actually was Matt Barnes. The Knicks cut him a few weeks later, starting power forward Antonio Davis, a Knick nemesis, and starting center Eddie Curry.
You remember that. That's a true fan. Because I would say, if you asked me who was starting in 2005, maybe I would say Marbury.
Yep.
I wouldn't remember any of those guys.
And Larry Brown was the coach.
And Larry Brown, we all know the story about that, his problems. Larry bounces everywhere. He was a good coach, but he had all sorts of problems with Stephon Marbury. That was the beginning of the end for Stephon. Listen, you got a team in 2005, I said, who stunk, but they were still packing the house. They were still selling out. That's one thing about the Knicks fans. People don't say. And the same goes for the Giant fans. No matter how – the Giants are the worst record in the NFL.
Yeah.
And they're still sold out and with a waiting list.
Well, there's nothing like going to the Garden. Of course, those days were tough because maybe some fans left in the third quarter, maybe just went for the vibes and not the game. But one thing I said when I was rooting for the Knicks during those downtimes and doing content as well, I always would tell people I was chasing a feeling, and that feeling was how I felt when the Knicks beat the Heat in the playoff series, how I felt when the Knicks beat the Pacers to go to the Eastern Conference Finals in 1994 and 1999, how I felt when the Knicks won big games as a kid, and that's one of the reasons why I never gave up, because I wanted to feel that feeling again. And right now, the last 5 years, haven't gotten that championship yet, but I have felt those feelings and emotions that I felt when I was 15, 13, 16 years old rooting for the Knicks. When the Knicks every game the Knicks beat the Celtics last year in the playoffs, I felt emotions that I had not felt as a Knicks fan since I was 15 years old. When we beat the Celtics that night in Game 6, that was one of the most incredible nights of my life. That
was a great night. We saw what happened outside the Garden. The place went crazy.
It was unbelievable.
I'd say for people who have been fans for like 30 years, I'm throwing a number out there, give or take 35 years, they only know packed houses.
Yep.
But I remember the Knicks. People don't understand this. I remember the Knicks in the 80s when Hubie Brown was coaching.
Yeah.
Before they even drafted Patrick Ewing. You go to the Garden.
It was empty, right?
It was empty. I have to say, the guy who began the Knicks dynasty when it came to fans and excitement was Pat Riley. I got to get Pat Riley there. When they brought in Pat Riley, Showtime Pat, and the Lakers and Magic and all, it changed. It transformed the Garden, and it's been that way ever since. And I got to get now. It's one thing to do it when Pat's there and he's building it, and then they hand it off to Jeff Van Gundy after Pat's, just like Pete Alonso.
Hey, don't forget about Don Nelson. Don't forget about Don Nelson for a cup of coffee.
You know what's funny about that? I was watching a Knicks, the NBA films, right? And whatever it was, they do that little thing, and they were doing the history of the Knicks, and they literally say on the thing, "Whoa!" After Pat Riley left, he was replaced by Jeff Van Gundy. They forgot Don Nelson.
What's crazy is when Don Nelson got fired, I believe the Knicks were about 15 games over 500, but Patrick Ewing wasn't having the offense. You know which player loved Don Nelson? Little trivia question.
Go for it.
God rest his soul. Anthony Mason.
I knew I could have answered that. You didn't have to jump in.
He used to come on my show all the time, and Anthony Mason loved Don Nelson because Don Nelson put the ball in his hands and had him be the point guard.
Well, to be fair now, if people don't know, because this was a while ago, when Don Nelson took over for Pat Riley went to the Miami Heat.
Yep.
He bolted. That was a big hullabaloo. And Don Nelson, first thing he says, and this is not good for your longevity as a Knicks coach, we're taking the ball out of Patrick, and Anthony Mason putting the ball in Mason's hand, and he's going to dribble up. And Patrick said, "Oh, you are you? Oh, you think you're going to do that, huh? Donnie, you got a house in Hawaii. Don't sell it, because you'll be there soon." And he was.
And then John Starks wasn't happy with him either. I believe Hubert Davis started a lot on those teams as well.
Yeah, that was not really a smart move by Don Nelson.
Yeah.
But even NBA Entertainment forgot that Don Nelson.
That's funny.
So when Pat Riley left, he was replaced by Jeff Van Gundy. Wow, Don has really been buried off the
Could you imagine, though, if Don Nelson worked out and he stayed, would the Knicks have maybe drafted Dirk Nowitzki a few years later? I have no idea.
You know what? You never know.
But I love Jeff. I love
Jeff
Van
was a
Gundy.
good coach.
Love Jeff Van Gundy.
Jeff was the right coach for that group of guys.
Perfect.
They loved him. John Starks, and even though they fought, there was a time when I remember we were up there with a camera, and the two of them got into an altercation. And
Van Gundy did with Starks?
And Starks. They loved him.
Yeah.
And he showed his medal as a Knicks coach when he was hanging off of Alonzo Mourning's legs.
Yep.
He was. People don't know. Again, there was a Miami Heat and the Knicks had great playoff matchups, great battles.
Those
great
games
battles.
took years off my life.
And they also took years off of pretty much everyone's life who played in them. Because the truth of the matter is the final score then, now you look like 148, 130. No, the final scores then was like 75 to 72.
Yeah. I think Game 3, Knicks Heat on the 2000 playoff series, I believe the Knicks lost 70 to 68.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
what?
And the amazing part about those was you had Jeff Van Gundy as the coach of the Knicks, and you had Pat Riley as the coach of the Heat. Pat Riley's first game back to the Garden was one of the great, epic, memorable moments.
Blowing kisses to the crowd.
They're booing him so loud that he started blowing kisses to the crowd.
Were you there for that?
No, but I remember covering it because we were here on this end. But I do remember the game, and I remember afterwards, after he did a little blowing the kisses, he's like, these fans, they're a bunch of blah, blah, blahs. I can't believe they booed me. Really, Pat? Come on.
Yeah,
Did you really think they weren't going to boo you?
You fax your resignation. What do you expect?
Yeah, you fax your resignation. Oh my God! Right when you're on the verge because you didn't like the idea that you couldn't run the thing.
Yeah.
But anyhow, so those were the great moments, and then we had the bad moments we talked about. Now we have this team coming off an Eastern Conference championship. Eastern Conference final.
Eastern Conference final.
I shouldn't say championship. I'm jumping ahead there.
By the way, Game 1, Knicks Pacers, when we were up 16 with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, is a worse loss than Game 1 versus the Pacers in 1995.
I happen to agree.
I will never, until we win a championship, I will never get over Game 1 versus the Pacers in 2025.
I'm going to do something right now. You tell me what I'm doing. Ball hits. Ball goes up. Ball goes through.
I was sitting about 15 rows to the court from that game, and I had a corner view. From my trajectory, I knew it had a chance to go in. So fans actually started celebrating, and I'm like, whoa, that might go in. And it did go in, and we lost in overtime. And I felt if we win that game, and listen, if we're a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I truly believe the Knicks beat the Pacers last year in 5. Now, would we have beat OKC? I can't say that.
I don't think anybody would beat OKC.
But we did lose that game, and it was too much to recover from.
To be fair, the Pacers took them. If Halliburton doesn't get hurt, they won 7 games.
They took them to Game 7.
By the way,
didn't.
Thank you, Isha Stone on TikTok. Love Pat Riley. See, I'm not the only one who said it. She loves Pat Riley, and I agree with him. I love him. I'll say this again. That's the Knicks team from last year. I'm not a guy who liked Tom Thibodeau. I like Tom Thibodeau to a degree, but he wore that team down. He never played his bench, and that was a problem. I think that was a huge problem.
Yeah, I get it. I'm a big Tibbs guy, but I understand the discrepancies. I do.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to come back. We're going to talk about this year's team. All right, we talked a little bit about the past. Let's talk about this year's team. We're going to go to break. When we come back, I'm going to ask you about Mike Brown. And
Sounds
what you like
good.
about him. All right? We'll be right back, kicking and screaming. Stay tuned. All right, we're back. All right, David Horse, 800 asks, can the Knicks win it all this season, or they keep playing great basketball? Anthony?
We definitely can. Are they gonna? I can't make any promises, but we definitely have a chance. I think there's definitely a great chance the Knicks are going to be playing in mid-June, and I get lost in my thoughts, and I think about what it would feel like to win a Knicks championship, what I would feel the second after, what I would feel an hour after, what I would feel days later at the parade. And I get tears in my eyes thinking about it, and I really thought last year it was going to happen, and it didn't, and that's okay. But I got just the thought of being at a Knicks parade at the Canyon of Heroes, and I've been to Yankee parades, I've been to Giant parades, and they were awesome. But a Knicks parade,
now I hate to say
I
it.
just can't
I hate
even
to
imagine
say
it,
it
man.
because I'm an old man. I don't hate to say it. I tell people I'm an old man. I'm 62. I'll be 63 in January. In my lifetime, the Knicks won twice, but I wasn't following sports back then. So I, too, had never seen the Knicks win a championship. And so I would actually look to say, Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Like?
Yeah, I like him. I'm still getting adjusted. I was a big Tom Thibodeau fan. I really love Tibbs. I always wanted the Knicks to hire Tibbs, even going back to 2008 when Donnie Walsh was looking for a coach and he ended up going with Mike D'Antoni. I was excited when the Knicks hired Tibbs. I thought Tibbs was exactly what the Knicks needed. He made every game matter, maybe even sometimes too much. The Knicks needed that for a franchise that all we did was lose basically since 2001, needed a coach like Tom Thibodeau. Now, who knows what the future holds? Will Tom Thibodeau maybe be like a Buck Showalter?
Thank you. I was about to say to you.
Maybe.
I was about to say to you, so I'm going to cut you off there because I'm glad you brought his name up, and I'll forget in 2 minutes because I'm old, like I told
you.
It's
okay. You're not old, Lou.
No, I'm old enough. But I look at Tom Thibodeau as a Buck Showalter. That's what he takes you to a certain point, and that's as far as you're going to go. And you have to then be smart. The Yankees, well, that was the whole thing with George, but when they took him out, they won a championship the next year. Arizona understood. He took him to a certain point. They took him out. They won a title the next year.
When the Yankees hired Buck, though, nobody thought Joe Torre was going to be the guy. Just like when the Knicks hired Mike Brown, when the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau, I don't think there was any fan that said, "Go get me Mike Brown."
No.
And when the Yankees fired Buck Showalter, and now granted I was 11 years old, but I do remember it. Did any Yankee fan say, "Go get me Joe Torre"?
You mean Clueless Joe? Because that was the headline.
Clueless Joe. I remember.
No, but the foundation was in place.
Yes.
And they made a couple of additions.
Yep.
And now I think the foundation's in place, and they've done a couple
They
of additions.
added a rookie shortstop.
Yeah, but he was also,
He was on the roster in 95.
He was in 95, but you're right. They added a rookie shortstop, which kind of helped. But the foundation was in place.
Yes.
And I'll tell you something. The foundation here is in place.
It is.
And what I like, I'll give you a name. Who I like. Jordan Clarkson. Not a star, but what is he? He's a great guy off the bench.
He is, and we're going to need that, especially in the playoffs when when the game slows down, the game gets tighter, and it can't be all one-on-one Jalen Brunson. You're going to need a Jordan Clarkson to go out and get you a bucket.
And they didn't have that last year. And he goes, you know why we know Jordan Clarkson's good? Because Mike Brown plays him, which is what Thibodeau wouldn't do.
To be fair to Tom Thibodeau, though, this year's bench is substantially better than last year's bench. Because Leon Rose brought in better players.
Why? You know why? Because he understood Tibbs wasn't going to play him, so why pay Jordan Clarkson? No,
maybe. I don't know about that.
I'm telling you, that's it. He knew, why am I wasting my time with a bench? He ain't going to play it anyhow.
I was a big Tibbs guy, so you're not going to get me to bash Tibbs too much.
He's a curmudgeon that's moved on. Good. Now,
listen, but I'm over it, and I welcome Mike Brown, and Coach Brown has done an incredible job.
How do you win in sports?
Score more points than the other team.
No. I really believe this. That's good. You're right, but I don't think that's. But how do you do that? Yeah. I think chemistry is very important.
It is. And
I think this team has chemistry.
They do.
And
they all love each other.
And what's the worst thing you can do when you have chemistry? Is break it up, because you're going for the star. Whatter.
Yep.
All right. We don't want to. That's what happens.
I know where you're going with this, Lou.
You know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to Milwaukee.
Yep.
And my question to you is, there's a story in the paper today that the Greek Freak. Go ahead, say his name because I can't pronounce
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, see, I can't do that.
Let's try it, Lou.
No, I'm not.
Try it once.
No, I can't try it.
All right.
Greek Freak. I could give you Giannis. I could do that. Anyhow, having said that, he bought some $1 million home in Brooklyn.
That means nothing. A lot of athletes and celebrities have homes in New York City.
So does Paul Skeens. They did the whole thing with Livy Dunn.
I think LeBron has an apartment here too.
Livy Dunn. Paul Skeens was going to be a Yankee because Livy Dunn wanted to buy a co-op or whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you're going to trade for Giannis, who's a great player,
Absolutely.
you're looking at Josh Hart possibly, OG Anunoby possibly, on top. I forget about,
Carl Anthony Towns, Deuce
Towns.
McBride,
So
draft picks.
do you need to do that?
No, you don't. I love this team. I love their chemistry. I love how they are playing. If you get Giannis Antetokounmpo for a player or two, all right, fine. But you're not going to get Giannis Antetokounmpo for just one player or even two players. The Knicks are playing great basketball. You don't want to break this up. And we've come so far to, revamp the roster again, even if it is for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I say don't make this trade. Keep this team rolling. This team is rolling. This team is ready to win now. Don't trade 3 or 4 guys, especially core guys, for Giannis. This team is ready and ready to win now.
We saw this a few years ago when they did the same thing with Carmelo. All right, you mentioned Donnie Walsh.
Yep.
He brought in Amari Stoudemire. He had a good group of guys. Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari.
Yep.
He had all these guys who can, and they looked like they were building something.
Yep.
And patience.
Yep.
And
They jumped the gun.
And they weren't patient.
They could have brought Melo as a free agent. We know that.
I'm not going to say the who or the why, but they weren't patient, and they jumped and made the trade for Carmelo, sending like 3 or 4 good players.
Yep.
They could have signed him in the offseason.
Yep.
And I thought that set them back. They had one great year after that. They won 50-plus games,
Yep.
but I thought that set them back. And I think this would set them back too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you get Giannis for something small, great, but you're not going to. So don't mess with this core. Don't mess with this team. Keep it the way it is.
The way the cap works, you can't.
Right, exactly. So I would keep it the way it is. I know so many fans. I was arguing with so many fans on social media. They're willing to trade so many players for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And let me tell you something. Giannis is great, but that first time he misses a free throw to win a game, that first time where he can't make a jump shot, the same fans that wanted to trade 10 guys for him will be the same fans that want him sent back to Milwaukee.
All right, these are your people, so I'm not going to rip your fan people because these are your people, but I'm going to rip the fan people.
It's okay.
They always want every star. Hey, that's LeBron. I want the Greek Freak. Why the hell isn't Kevin Durant the Knick? I mean, it doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately,
Especially
it doesn't.
in a cap league, it doesn't work that way.
We have a great team now. We have a team that has a chance to win the championship the way it is presently constructed. Don't mess it up.
And how did it work in Brooklyn with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant? You think they
James Harden?
Now, granted, right now Brooklyn is not in the NBA anymore. I understand that they're now they're playing in the.
They
CBA.
should just go back to New Jersey.
But it didn't work for them either. So now you had those guys. You brought in the big numbers. You let them leave, and now your franchise goes right back in the toilet. You don't want that with the Knicks. Build the foundation. You got to have a foundation.
I agree. Keep going. The Knicks are rolling right now. No point to mess it up by trading 5 guys for 1. Keep it rolling.
All right. So we talked about OG, and I saw a stat today. In paper. His impact. They give up 10 less points a game when he's on the court because he missed some time with the injury. That's something that's invaluable that people don't understand. How invaluable a guy like OG Anunoby is. And I'll give Leon Rose all the credit.
Yep.
He made the trade for OG. He brought in Josh Hart, who bounced around the league. Okay? He saw something in Jalen Brunson that people were like, Jalen Brunson? What? He's a backup point guard. Although I'll admit, I watched him in the postseason that year.
In Dallas. He was great.
In Dallas. And Doncic was hurt. And I even said to Tina Savassi, who, Sports Extra host, I said, this guy, I watched enough video. I'm like, this guy can play.
Yep.
But he saw something in these guys
that
a lot of other people didn't. And that's invaluable.
Yeah, 2 of the best trades you could say in New York Knicks history was Leon Rose acquiring Josh Hart in January of 2023 and Leon Rose trading for OG Anunoby in December of 2023. And obviously, Jalen Brunson was a free agent signing, but those 2 trades were so huge in building this New York Knicks core.
The greatest trade in Knicks history was?
Probably trading for Dave DeBusschere before I was born.
See?
Probably trading
there
for
you
Dave
go.
DeBusschere.
And that led to a championship.
But in my lifetime, besides the 2 trades I mentioned, probably even though I love John Starks, probably bringing in Latrell Sprewell, which eventually catapulted us to the NBA Finals.
That's a whole different ballgame. But the reason DeBusschere's trade worked and how great a trade that was is the foundation was in set. You had Walt Frazier. You had Willis Reed playing at a position. And then when they brought in DeBusschere, they were able to make him the center.
Yep.
They had Dick Barnett. They had Bill Bradley. So they had a foundation in place. And that's what this Knicks team has in place. I have no problem if you could fit another player in the mix.
Exactly.
But not breaking up the core.
Correct.
The core, you break up that core, And all you're doing is setting yourself back because it doesn't work.
And especially the way Josh Hart right now is playing incredible basketball. OG Anunoby, he's back from his injury. He's playing good basketball. Deuce McBride, he's playing great basketball off the bench. You don't want to mess this up.
You see it. Everyone points to LeBron in Miami. Oh, the big three. But I don't know if that works anymore. And you see who's the champion.
Yep.
And they were getting ripped at Thunder. Oh, tearing it down. They keep trading another guy, treating another guy. 9 million draft picks. And guess what? They're champions. And that's what I think the Knicks, they got to build on that.
Keep going.
So, okay, what is your prediction? We're going to be sitting here in May or June of next year, and what do you think is going to happen?
I think the Knicks are going to be in the finals for sure. Are we going to win? I don't know. But I think we're going to be in the finals this year.
It's going to be tough to win because I think that Oklahoma
The Thunder's
City team,
great, man.
I mean,
They might be going after 70 wins.
That's amazing. They only lost once all year. But we might get a preview of that next week.
Maybe Knicks Thunder NBA Cup Finals next week in Vegas.
All right, and because I can see the Knicks beating the Magic. Franz Wagner's hurt.
That should be a good game. The Magic, they're a tough team, but
and as much as San Antonio is a good team against Oklahoma City, without Wemby, I see that could be a final, and that would be amazing.
Yep, that would be cool. That'd be good for the league too. Knicks Thunder for a chance to win the NBA Cup, potential finals preview. And Adam Silver licking his chops.
So if you're the NBA, you're hyping up. You got 1 minute left. You're hyping up that matchup. All right, you're seeing the fact that hey, this is the final, and if that's a game, let's say 123, 121 goes down to the wire, hype, everybody goes crazy. It's going to build up.
It will, absolutely.
I think it's going to be exciting. I remember how it was. Anthony, thank you so
much.
Lou,
thank you for having me. Bianca, enjoy your vacation.
Yes,
Hope to see you soon.
She's on an island somewhere.
That's awesome.
She's down there for and she deserves it.
She does. Bianca's great.
She's the host. I'm just the sidekick.
Thank you both for being so great to me over the last year. Looking forward to hopefully doing many more things.
I'm just a sidekick. They don't let me. I don't get vacation time.
We'll find you, Anthony.
You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram, TikTok, Anthony MSG.
You got a meetup coming up?
I got many meetups coming up. My next one is December 19th versus Sixers. That's sold out, but many more to come.
All right. See, I don't do the plugs. I thought I had the guy in the background doing the plugs. I don't do those shameless plugs. But someone had to go do it for you.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone has to do it for you. All right. I got integrity. But that's okay. But that's why I pay him. That's why we pay this guy. So everybody keeps asking why we have him. That's the reason we have him. All right. Anyhow, I don't know how much time we have left. Thank you for joining us. Next week, Bianca comes back. So for all you guys who are missing her, she'll be back. All right. And thanks for watching Kicking and Screaming. And please, see you guys. See you again.